Did you know that over 1.5 billion people travel internationally each year? That's almost 1/5 of the world's population. With so many travelers hitting the road, popular destinations can feel more like crowded events than relaxing getaways. Surprisingly, studies show that about 60% of travelers stick to the same well-known spots. This means countless hidden gems are waiting to be discovered just off the beaten path. Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the famous landmarks? Imagine stumbling upon a charming village that's untouched by mass tourism or a stunning beach where you're the only one lounging in the sun. Hidden gems can offer the adventure and authenticity that mainstream destinations often lack. In this video, we'll explore exciting strategies to help you uncover these secret spots. From discovering forgotten cities to connecting with locals, you'll learn how to travel like a true explorer. Get ready to shift your focus from the usual tourist traps to the remarkable treasures waiting to be found. Are you ready to find the hidden gems of travel? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The road less traveled. Escaping the tourist traps. If everyone's traveling, it can feel like every destination is overrun by crowds. But the truth is, there are ways to escape the tourist traps and find places that feel truly unique. One of the best strategies is to avoid peak seasons. According to a study by the World Tourism Organization, 75% of global travelers go on vacation during the summer months. This means if you travel in the off-season, you'll have more places to yourself. Another way to find hidden gems is to explore secondary cities. These are places close to popular destinations but often overlooked. For example, instead of visiting Barcelona, head to Girona, a smaller city an hour away. It has medieval architecture and fewer crowds. The same goes for Florence, where many tourists miss the nearby town of Lucca, which has preserved its ancient walls. A good rule of thumb is to skip anything you've seen on Instagram. Social media algorithms often push the same few spots over and over, turning them into overhyped destinations. In contrast, a small, unfiltered beach in the Balkans might be equally stunning, and you'll have it mostly to yourself. Don't just rely on Google to plan your trip. Instead, ask locals or frequent travelers for advice. In fact, a 2019 study by Booking.com found that 70% of travelers rely on word-of-mouth recommendations when choosing offbeat destinations. This shows just how powerful personal suggestions can be. And lastly, consider staying in rural areas. According to travel research from the European Parliament, rural tourism has grown by 60% in recent years. People are increasingly looking for peaceful, nature-filled escapes, away from touristy crowds. If you're enjoying these insights, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more tips on discovering hidden travel gems. Chapter 2. The Untold Stories of Forgotten Cities. Ever heard of places like Matera, Italy, or Røros, Norway? Probably not. These are cities with rich histories, but they've somehow fallen off the global travel map. This chapter is about rediscovering forgotten cities and giving them the attention they deserve. Matera, for instance, is one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities, yet it's often skipped over by tourists headed to Italy's more famous destinations like Rome or Venice. What's surprising is that UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site in 1993 due to its ancient cave dwellings, yet it still flies under the radar. Similarly, Røros in Norway, once a major mining town, now feels like a time capsule of Nordic history. There's also something about exploring a forgotten city that makes you feel like you've stumbled onto a secret. Many of these places were once bustling hubs of activity but have since been left in the shadows of more modern or tourist-heavy areas. As a result, they often have preserved culture and architecture that you won't find elsewhere. Data from the Global Destination Cities Index shows that major cities like Bangkok, Paris, and London receive upwards of 20 million international visitors annually. In contrast, cities like Matera or Røros host only a fraction of that number. Yet these smaller cities offer just as much in terms of culture and beauty, if not more, because of their authenticity. When visiting a forgotten city, focus on learning about its history. Often, these cities were pivotal in shaping regions, but their stories aren't told as often as they should be. For example, Córdoba in Spain was once the largest city in Western Europe during the Islamic Golden Age. Today, it's a hidden gem with Moorish architecture and a rich history that rivals Seville or Granada. Chapter 3. Remote escapes. Where Wi-Fi can't reach in today's hyper-connected world, finding places where Wi-Fi can't reach is becoming a luxury. These remote escapes offer the ultimate way to unplug and recharge. Interestingly, data from the Pew Research Center shows that 77% of Americans own a smartphone, and many people feel constantly connected to the internet. Yet more travelers are seeking remote locations where they can go off-grid. One key strategy for finding these places is to search for regions with limited infrastructure. For example, parts of Alaska, Patagonia, or the Faroe Islands have vast areas where internet access is sparse or non-existent. These areas aren't just remote, they're also breathtakingly beautiful. Imagine towering glaciers, pristine lakes, and endless skies, and not a single notification popping up on your phone. Another good tip is to stay at eco-lodges or remote cabins. Many of these accommodations are designed to be as self-sufficient as possible, often intentionally located in areas without internet or phone service. For example, the Mashpee Lodge in Ecuador's cloud forest offers no Wi-Fi or TV, giving guests a pure nature experience instead. A little-known fact is that even in more connected countries, you can find places to escape the internet. Scotland, for instance, has dozens of small islands, like Fair Isle or Fula, where you can completely disconnect. Some of these islands have fewer than 100 residents, and the only connection you'll have is with nature. According to the Adventure Travel Trade Association, 59% of travelers are now seeking trips that offer physical activity, nature immersion, and opportunities for personal growth. Remote escapes fit this trend perfectly. They allow you to reconnect with the natural world and clear your mind, far away from the constant buzz of digital life. So, if you're looking for the ultimate hidden gem, search for a place where there's no Wi-Fi. It's a surefire way to find peace, solitude, and maybe even a new perspective on what travel should be. If you're enjoying the journey so far, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on finding your own hidden treasures while traveling. Chapter 4. Cultural treasures hidden in plain sight. When people think of cultural hotspots, they often think of Paris, Tokyo, or New York City. But the truth is, some of the best cultural experiences are hidden right in plain sight, even in places tourists regularly visit. The trick? Look beyond the famous landmarks. For example, while millions flock to Florence's Uffizi Gallery, fewer people explore the quieter city streets where independent art galleries and local workshops thrive. According to a report from the European Commission, 53% of travelers are seeking more local and authentic experiences rather than mainstream tourist attractions. This means the culture you crave might be found in a lesser-known cafe or a community theater. One great strategy is to attend local festivals. Even in big cities, these events can provide a glimpse into the real heartbeat of a place. For instance, the Fiesta de San Fermín in Pamplona is world-famous, but fewer people know about La Tamborada in San Sebastián, where locals celebrate their culture with drum parades. Festivals like these are often rich in history and tradition, offering a true taste of local life. You can also focus on local craftsmanship. Many regions are famous for their artisans, and yet tourists rarely visit their workshops. Take the town of Fez in Morocco, where the Medina is full of craftspeople working with leather, metal, and ceramics in ways that have remained unchanged for centuries. Research from the World Economic Forum suggests that cultural tourism is growing by 15% annually as more people seek these deeper experiences. So next time you're in a city or region, skip the guidebook's top 10 list and explore the side streets, small museums, and local markets. You might just stumble upon a hidden cultural treasure. Chapter 5. Nature's best kept secrets. Wild landscapes beyond the guidebooks. When most people plan a nature escape, they think of places like Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, or the Swiss Alps. But there's a whole world of wild landscapes that are rarely mentioned in guidebooks, even though they're just as beautiful, if not more so. One strategy to find these hidden natural gems is to explore national parks in lesser-known countries. For instance, while Iceland's Blue Lagoon is famous, Vatnajökull National Park, home to Europe's largest glacier, is far less visited. Data from Iceland's tourist board shows that only about 50% of visitors venture beyond the Golden Circle, leaving massive natural wonders practically untouched. Similarly, in the United States, there are over 400 national park sites, but most visitors head to just a handful. Parks like North Cascades in Washington or Great Basin in Nevada are often overlooked but offer breathtaking landscapes with fewer people. According to the National Park Service, only 30% of national parks receive the bulk of visitor traffic. Another trick is to look for nature reserves and conservation areas, which often fly under the radar. In Kenya, while many go to Masai Mara for safari, few know about Chulu Hills, where volcanic terrain meets lush green landscapes, and the wildlife is just as abundant. One of the best ways to discover these hidden spots is by asking locals or consulting smaller, independent guidebooks. A unique quote from The Art of Travel by Alain de Botton says, "Journeys are the midwives of thought." Sometimes, the best landscapes are the ones you discover by simply wandering off the beaten path, not by following a travel itinerary. Lastly, don't forget about underwater escapes. Less than 5% of the ocean has been explored, which means the underwater world remains one of nature's most mysterious landscapes. Destinations like Raja Ampat in Indonesia offer some of the most biodiverse marine life, yet they remain relatively unknown to the average traveler. So if you're craving nature's hidden beauty, think beyond the surface, literally. Thanks for joining us on this journey through hidden gems in travel. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to subscribe for more insights and tricks to make your next adventure truly unforgettable. Happy travels!